Moving on, one of the interesting things about the bridge is, I've said it before, is we're a bit of a aircraft carrier for ministries. They come in and they come out. They land, they're gone. They're like, who were they? Where did they go? And it's our honor and our privilege to do that. And it's not unusual for me to be teaching here and look out and realize, oh, that's so-and-so from so-and-so, and why am I here speaking? Because I would like to know what they have to say. I've said it before a couple of times. Not in this building, but in other places I've been preaching, and I've seen Bob Sorge sitting out there. And in no just world am I talking and Bob's listening. That's like the goofiest thing in the world. If we're in the same room, I should be listening and he should be talking. But sometimes we look out and we see folks, we're like, oh, I want to hear what they have to say. And that happened a couple of weeks ago. We have a friend who's been with us for a few weeks who we've never met until recently. And we've known them for a while. We've bantered back and forth online, but have never actually met them. And so we're super excited. When I told Kelsey, who was here, Kelsey doesn't go fangirl very often. And Kelsey wigged out a little bit. She was pretty excited to meet this person. So Stephanie, please come join us. Give Stephanie a welcome. Stephanie, quick.
Hello, good morning.
I asked if she would jump in so we could get to know her a little bit, find out who is sitting among us, what they're doing, and what they're up to. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are super glad to have you. Now, Stephanie is with Frontier Alliance International. Mm-hmm. I give it different words every time. Did I get it right? Because I like pulling them names and words out of the sky. Frontier Alliance International. In just kind of a bit of a thumbnail, tell us what FAI does.
FAI is a creative access ministry in the Middle East, 1040 window. So our mandates from the Lord are international recruitment and advocacy for regional training and mobilization, for ultimately expansive local evangelism and discipleship in the interior of the unreached world, to lay foundations for the gospel where there are none. So Romans 15:20, I've made it my ambition to lay foundations for the gospel where there are none.
And that means places like, can you name places?
Yeah, we have a pretty robust medical presence in Iraqi Kurdistan and the Turkish world, Arab world. Yeah.
Now, they do relief, that kind of thing, evangelism, but then there is another arm that is heavily involved in the arts. And they bring it together quite beautifully. You've done a number of films. How many films?
I think we are releasing our 11th, September 2nd.
And when I say films, I don't mean like a 30-minute thing on YouTube with a handy cam. I mean, these are beautifully shot. Things like Covenant and Controversy, which give us a thumbnail on that.
Actually, Covenant and Controversy is what put cameras in our hands to begin with. So FAI was founded by Dalton Thomas, if you know who Dalton is. Joel is here sometimes.
Joel Richardson is involved.
So yeah. Joel and Dalton carry a lot of our Bible teaching burden and responsibility, but I was in New Zealand with them, with Dalton and Anna, and Dalton had written this book on the issue of Israel, the issue of Jacob's trouble, and I was like, this is magnificent. No one's going to read this. No one reads books anymore. Like, Kindles had just come out. There'd been some statistic that, like the average American had read 0 books that year, and so you have people like me and Kelsey who are like, we've got stacks, but people are bringing down like the average.
Are you accusing
0?
me of bringing down average?
I'm just
it's true.
Putting it out there.
If
you know who you are. So anyway, we were, this was 2012. I had a BlackBerry. I pulled up my BlackBerry and I sent him an email. And I said, I just have been thinking that like somebody should do a film on the issue and theology of Israel, not because I care about Israel, but Tozer had said, what comes into your mind when you think about God is the most important thing about you. And if you think something about God that is not true of God, it doesn't matter if you have cute and good intentions. If it's not true about God, it's blasphemy. So you have to know God as he has revealed himself and know him rightly as he is to be known. And I felt like Jerusalem's the stage. If you trip over Jerusalem, you trip over Jesus. So we rolled out, we were going to do one film, Covenant and Controversy, throw it up on YouTube, And then we got into it and we were like, wow, we don't know what we're doing. We're trying to hug an elephant in 90 minutes, and also this is ugly. So we scrapped it, started over, and rolled out, we mapped out 5 films. And I said, maybe this was 2013, 2014, and I was like, what if, God forbid, it takes us a decade to do like 5 films? That's a big thing. And Dalton being Dalton, he was like, so it takes 10 years, like good things take time. And I was like, yeah, okay. So we've cleared that. We've got 3. There are 2 to go. And it's like life security. I can't die until
the things are done.
Yeah, but anyway, so
How
they're
are
all
you feeling?
free.
You feeling okay? Okay.
I'm
All right.
36.
Because we'd like to see the rest of the films.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So they're all free online. They're all free. We have an app now where we put all of our stuff. The FAI app, covenantandcontroversy.com.
FAI app on your phone, full of content. Like, you will not exhaust this thing.
Yeah.
All the films are there, lots of Joel Richardson's teaching, Dalton Thomas, all really rich stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, and you serve in what role is this, other than instigator?
In Covenant?
Yeah, or in the films.
Like, I think writer, producers, you have to understand, we are, like, films look cool and flashy, but then you meet us and you're like, wow, you guys are all dinguses, and like, it's such a small team that we just kind of, we all wear a lot of hats.
And where do you live now? Not this moment, but what do you call home?
Yeah, it's so I've been in Israel for 3 years, and the Lord put me on, I grew up in the military, and there's a thing called a TDY, a temporary duty, and I am on a TDY to do a thing that has me here.
Okay, so here
right now.
Short term.
You guys don't know this, but you're my Kansas City church.
Yes,
hey.
We'll take her. Now, two projects that you're working on or worked on and will work on that I want to hear about. One is this amazing little book, Ruins of the Renaissance. Mm-hmm. I sat down and started to read this the other night, and I said to Kelsey keeps saying you're brilliant, which you are, but I said, this is beautiful to read.
Oh, thank you.
Like, it reads, it's prose that reads like poetry.
So you do read books?
I read some books. I read parts of books, and I read part of yours.
Thanks.
So, being honest. So, give us a synopsis of this.
Oh gosh, I'm not known for being short-winded, and I'm not good at like elevator pitches. But Ruins of the Renaissance. I'll back up and give you a little bit of family history. 2011, middle of 2011, I'm in New Zealand. Dalton and Anna are in New Zealand. Do you know the Walshes?
Yeah,
we're with the Walshes.
She was with Aaron and Christy Walsh. It is Aaron and Christy's fault that we moved here. Okay, so that we have similar roots.
It's Aaron and Christy's fault we went to the Middle East, actually.
Okay. So Aaron and Christy get a lot of
ruin everything. So, so middle of 2011, I'm in the Tauranga House of Prayer, and the Lord tells me, you have a year left in New Zealand, get a vision for a year, i.e. finish well. I was kind of cranky about it. You're going to miss these days when you're gone. I didn't know I'm like this close to moving to Iraq. So from the middle of 2011 to middle of 2012, the Lord gives me blueprints for a missional media production company that prioritizes prophetic integrity over a profit margin, which means you have to completely divorce yourself from the industry and infrastructure, fund things in alternative methods so that you can produce and speak and just give it away for free without monetizing the message. So I'm thinking, honestly, that I would come back here because I had done an internship at IHOP where I'd go to Nashville. Would have been the worst idea in the world, but I'm not thinking I'm going to the Middle East. In that same year, like middle of 2011, the Lord says to Dalton, lay down the South Pacific and embrace the Islamic world. And Dalton's a surfer. He was like, Jesus, do you know that Indonesia has more Muslims than anywhere else in the world? And the Lord was like, I do. That's cute. You're going to the Middle East. Syrian civil war is starting to hemorrhage. So then July 2012, they're like, we're going to the Middle East. And I said, deuces, kissed them goodbye, put them on an airplane. And I'd been in, I just was not interested. So, like not interested. They didn't invite me. The Lord snuck me in through covenant. So, Aaron Walsh had said to Dalton, oh, this is the Lord, you need to recruit from our community, take the best and brightest. And Dalton was like, oh my God, I haven't even thought about, we'll just slip out quietly. He goes, no, take the best and brightest. So they didn't invite me. I tell this part of the story because they didn't ask me. So then afterwards, we're having staff meetings and Aaron's like, oh, isn't it beautiful? We just were so proud of them. It was like a gift offering to the Lord. We gave the Lord our best and brightest. And everybody in the room is like, and I'm in the back you can call me whatever you want. I'm not going to the Middle East. And the Lord was like, whoop. So in any event, I wake up in Turkey. And we would have prayer meetings in the morning, and then the team would go to language class, and I would go do research for this film. And I was looking around and it was like, oh my gosh, missional media production. You were not being figurative, you were being sneaky. So in any event, we kind of hold on to the vision of it. And then in March 2020, we're going into lockdown. We jump into a 2-week fast. Dalton and Joel roll out the Maranatha Bible study, and it was like, we started with film, we rolled out this media ecosystem, podcast, publishing, whatever, but like music was the last mountain to climb. And March 2020, Dalton was like, it's time. We're going to start producing music. And he has been, some of the songs he's written, I think, are like doctrinally some of the most important songs the church needs to sing. And he's just had them in his pocket for 10 plus years. But now they're out. And so anyway, he says to me, you have to write it down. And I said, but you know people don't read books, Dalton. We should do a film. And he said, you have to write it down. We'll do a film, but you have to write it down. So I wrote it down, and I was like, but then we're going to do a film, and I'm going to just put them out together for maximum impact. And then COVID hit, delayed the Covenant and Controversy 4 production that this was going to piggyback off of, and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. So then I just leaked it online, Ruins of the Renaissance. So this is the manifesto of how the Lord can leverage beautiful means to declare beautiful truth, I think, ultimately in the way the last Renaissance was funded largely by the church. They prioritized beautiful things to tell the story. It also was criminal and manipulative and run by the mafia. We don't want to do that. And it threw us headlong into the Enlightenment. We also don't want to do that. But if the Son of Man's coming on the clouds in power and glory, they sang a new song from the ends of the earth, Glory to the Righteous One. So
it is about the value of beauty in declaring the worth of the Lord. Mm. It is Ruins of the Renaissance. And I would give you this one, but Kelsey would take my arm off because this is Kelsey's copy. And this morning she texted me 10 minutes after I left the house and said, do you have the copy of that book with you? I said, yeah, I have it. She said, I want it back. So she's going to get it back. Okay, so you're here in Kansas City,
yes.
Short term, working on what kind of project?
So I'll give you the title in a second. If you've been following us for a couple of years, you know we did Ballads of the Revelation, Ballads of the Exodus, that are like film/concept albums woven into one. Ballads of the Revelation is like an apocalyptic Bob Dylan acid trip. So if you haven't checked it out, you should.
It's a great album. It is a great album. It's moving. They sing parts of Revelation you wouldn't think they'd sing.
This is true.
And it's beautiful.
I'd sing some of it now, but there are kids in the room. So I'm kidding. It's fine. You can, whatever. It's, you should take the microphone, Randy. Anyway, so March 2020, I'm in lockdown. I go over to Dalton Anna's house. We're in the Golan Heights. And I said, listen, I have this song I'm working on. I'm kind of fishing for permission. Like, this is either going to represent FAI well or not. And I need to know. But Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 2 says, your love is better than wine. I think you had prayed, like, your love is the highest pleasure. Your love is better than wine. Your love is the highest pleasure. And so I wrote a song called Better Than Bourbon. And yes, you are my girl. And so it was like halfway done, and I'm kind of like, is this okay? And Dalton goes, do you have more where that came from? We could do Ballads of the Song of Solomon. And I was like, do I? I call dibs. Song of Solomon is mine. You can do whatever you want. So January of this year, I was teaching. We had a short-term school in Brazil. So I was in Brazil, and then I would go hide in the air conditioning at night. I don't know if you know this. It's summer in Brazil in January and scorching. And I was like, Lord, he had just thrown me for a loop. I'm having a weird year. I'm on this little TDY thing. And so I was like, what do I do with this year? And he said, prioritize Song of Solomon and call Logan Murphy. If you know Logan Murphy, produces at JTL in Grandview. So, and I don't know Logan super well, but I call him up. I said, hey, man, so I have an idea. And I'm doing like an Americana, bluegrass, gospel, Appalachian concept album on the Song of Solomon, couched in like latter 19th century bourbon culture. And I was getting real confident in my pitch, and then I was like, oh God, what if he thinks this baby's ugly? And I said, is that like, interesting to you at all? And he was like, I love Jesus, I love Song of Solomon, and I am from Appalachia. If I do anything with my life, I have to do this project. So we met in March, mapped it out, started fundraising in April, and I came out here in early July. We actually just wrapped tracking yesterday. So, just because some of y'all know these people, Audra Lynn is singing female lead. Doesn't get any better than that. I mean, really, that's a dream come true. But it gets better. So this guy, Andrew, that you don't know, he's part of the FAI family, he led worship for us once at a field summit, and I was like, oh, if I ever need a Chris Stapleton, I'm going to call Andrew. I just stuck it in my pocket. So he's singing male lead, and then we have gang vocals. John Scott Young has a little featurette on here, and Jay Thomas led the vocal ensemble that is like the voice of wisdom that just kind of comes in and pushes you into wholehearted maturity. So, Ballads of the Song of Solomon, global release on St. Patrick's Day, because what other day would you put it out if you were singing pub songs about Jesus? Yeah. A lot of hymns they hijacked pub melodies and rewrote the lyrics. Amazing Grace, for example. I just skipped right to it. Yeah.
Well, how much longer will you be in Kansas City?
Till Wednesday.
Till Wednesday. Oh, I was last minute. Okay, I tried to do this earlier. It didn't work.
He did. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to highlight someone who's been in our midst, be in and out. We're going to count that she's going to be back. Mm-hmm. And just let you know what the Bridge is investing in HeartWise. And also give you an opportunity to invest. You know, because Trader Joe's doesn't care about your heart. They would like cash.
Yeah.
And so if you would like to help Stephanie on her journeys, snag her afterwards. Mm-hmm. You know, we joke about the old Pentecostal handshake. Some of you know what that is. So when you shake somebody's hand, you walk away, you got $20 or $100 or whatever. So if you want to bless her in that, she'll be around afterwards, please do. This is a unique project. There is so little emphasis on true beauty in Christian art. It's mostly about the words and the message, which it should be, but the message is beautiful. And so they're focusing on this beauty aspect, which is fantastic. Thank you.
We have to point out, though, Randy, this is a statistical anomaly. Randy's from North Dakota.
Yes.
I was born in South Dakota, and here we are right next to each other.
Together in one place.
Yeah.
Daniel's from North Dakota, Grand Forks boy.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah, so Daniel Grenz, who's now overseas, so the four of us are, I hope they shut the lights off when they left. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Take it. Yes.